Welcome inside episode 653 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains on a game day. Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals come to the CTC, where Pillsy, the Sens, are undefeated on the season.
Oh, yeah, they are. And we might get a new look for your Ottawa Senators as they reveal their reverse retro jerseys. We'll tell you which 5 games are going to be wearing those, what we like about them, what we don't like, and more.
All that coming up on today's edition of the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.
Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen on this Thursday, October 20th. The show is free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube, where the best way you can help the show grow is to like every video by clicking the thumbs up and subscribing to the Locked On Senators channel. If it's your first time listening, I'm sorry, I don't usually sound like this, but to be fair, we've got good reason after an amazing trip to Ottawa, Pills.
And Ross, this is weird being back in our home podcast studios. We had been doing live in-person podcasts. The vibes were at an all-time high back in Ottawa, but you made the trip back to Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm back in the Blue Mountains, and we're gearing up for another game day. So the grind don't stop, Ross.
No, and I was just thinking, there are people who went on Tuesday and went on Thursday. I want to hear from you in the comments. What was your home remedy? Because there's no way you were clicking at 100% yesterday. There's no chance anyone who was in the building screaming Zoob after he made it 7-5 was working at 100% the next day.
No, I mean, all 19,811 of us are day-to-day report these next couple days, yeah.
Hey, not day-to-day yet, but we also got news today that Cam Talbot was at practice. So he's coming up on about 3 weeks since the injury. So it's good to see him back. There's still no imminent return. Anton Forsberg is going to take the net for Ottawa when they host Washington, a team that's had the Senators' numbers for the last decade and a half, basically the Alex Ovechkin era.
I was going to say, yeah, when was Alex Ovechkin drafted?
Yes, 2004 would be your answer there. And, well, the numbers aren't pretty for Ottawa since. We'll pull that up for you later. We'll get into the starting lineups, the unfortunate circumstances that we won't get a proper salute for Connor Brown. He's one of multiple Capitals out of the lineup, but the others are for different reasons. Well, Tom Wilson's a long-term off-season surgery. He's still recovering from that. And Evgeny Kuznetsov, the number one center on this team, is out one game due to a suspension. But Pilsy, if anyone hasn't seen it, what was your initial reaction when you saw the Kuznetsov play?
It was one one of those, I think there's a GIF. Is it Jay-Z where he's doing the ooh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in a good way because, Kuznetsov, and we talked about it on Locked On NHL, Ross, that should have been a much bigger suspension. I mean, when you start using your stick clearly as a weapon and in no part of play or going for the puck, there's a big issue there, and that needs to be punished much more than one game, especially for a guy like Kuznetsov. The Capitals need to feel that burn a little bit more than just one game. However, if it's going to be one game, I'm glad it's one game against Ottawa.
Yes, 100%. And Kuznetsov retaliated, too, for the play, right? He didn't like what Kyle Burroughs with Vancouver did. Vancouver, by the way, blew a multi-goal third-period lead, doing their best Leafs impression.
They've been doing that all year, Ross. I think every game they've blown the lead.
They have. Bruce Boudreau, though, on record today just being like, hey, I'm not going to judge the team on a 5-game road trip to start the season. I mean, that is fair. It's a bit of a tough start for the guys, but that's neither here nor there. You can tune into Locked On Canucks for that. We're just fired up that Ottawa gets to have an advantageous lineup against them tonight. There's no other way to put it. We'll pull up those lines later and tell you exactly why. But, Pillsy, now that you've had a few moments back in Collingwood, what's going to be your everlasting memory from that week in Ottawa?
I was just thinking that, Ross, that might have been the greatest Tuesday of my life. For the home opener to happen, and we kept doing this all week, Ross. We were telling people, I think you even went up to someone and said, "How's your weekend been?" And they're like, dude, it's Tuesday. But it just felt like a weekend experience. I mean, everybody was there for the game. It seemed like the pregame meetup was something special. Ottawa just has a special spot in my heart now, because every time I go, I end up getting to stay with you and your parents. We end up going to a game or two, or even more, getting some 67s actions into, and getting to see all the Sens fans at the rink. Back to a normal hockey atmosphere, and with a team that has finally some excitement in the air. It's a feeling you can't even really describe. So thank you everyone that showed up for the game. Thank you everyone that made it a good time. And thank you to the Ottawa Senators for getting a 7-5 win.
Perfectly said, Pilsy. Like, you can't thank everyone enough for coming to the Stanleys before the game, and then just the atmosphere, walking over as a team over across the cornfields of Canada on the way to the CTC right as the sun was setting. I
It
may
was
add.
beautiful. Yeah.
It was perfect. It called for rain. No, not a cloud in the sky. I think we had a rainbow the night before. Just good omens, good vibes at the arena. The staff at the CTC did fantastic, by the way. I was expecting it to be all the way down to that flame, like right at the end of the concourse outside with a line. No, we got it. You went right to the door.
Moving.
It was great. I mean, at intermission, you could feel the squeeze, and that's what you get with a capacity crowd. Certainly, you prefer it to the alternative. But
Yes.
It was great. You and I found that little nook to have our hot dogs. But no, all in all, you remember it as just a fantastic weekend. And it was fun getting to set up the first live show. So absolutely love to see this. As I've been doing this, though, I've been looking it up. You weren't born on a Tuesday, were you?
I don't remember the exact date of my birth, Ross, but no, I don't think I was born on a Tuesday.
So we're going to go with this being the best Tuesday of your life.
Yeah, I'll keep that on record. Best Tuesday of my life, unless someone can go through every other Tuesday of my life and rank them and change my mind. I'm open to that, but for now, we'll say top Tuesday.
Yes, and talking about how amazing it is being back at the Canadian Tire Center, we want to give you the chance to go to the Canadian Tire Center on Monday when the Ottawa Senators continue this same homestand on Monday against the Dallas Stars. Pair of battles before then, tonight against Washington, Saturday afternoon against Arizona. But you could get 2 tickets in Section 105, and that winner will be announced on the postcast tonight. We've got a random tweet generator. It's probably something used by corporations when they do these events. Our first time using it, but we're going to do it live on the postcast. We're going to pick a winner, so make sure you tune in. Martian and Pilsy will have you the postcast. I got to work tonight, but I'm still going to be tuning in as much as I can, because we got to reverse this curse that the Washington Capitals have put on the Ottawa Senators. Let's get into tonight's game, but first, Pilsy, you got a word from one of our favorite sponsors.
We do, Ross, and since we had a much better battle with BetOnline.ag. I was losing the battle to start the year, but I'm back now. I'm gonna reintroduce Pilsy's parlay. But
Whoa!
The place to do that, guys, the only place, is BetOnline.ag, and you can check out BetOnline.net for all the latest scores, odds, player performance, props, totals. They got it at BetOnline.net. It's your number one spot for all your sports scores, updates, analysis, opinions, podcast, news, everything. They got it. And it's not just hockey. There's basketball, there's baseball, there's soccer, there's golf, there's boxing, there's UFC, whatever you like, they got it. So head to the website today, and Ross, that's what I'm doing right now for Pilsy's parlay of the day. And I mean, let's start with the obvious one. Of course, we're taking Sens money line here. Interesting odds, though, Ross. Minus 104 for the Sens, minus 106 for the Capitals. So that is insanely close odds there. And then I'm just trying to get a quick buck here. I'm not trying to go full galaxy brain, but the San Jose Sharks are 0-5. They're up against the New York Rangers. I think that streak is going to continue for them. So I'm taking the Rangers money line at minus 278. Sens money line, Rangers money line together in a parlay. Put $10 in. You're going to win $16.67.
Ooh.
That's at betonline.ag. It's where the game starts.
And every game has to have energy. And where do you get your energy? Could it be from Ottawa's best restaurant? Confirmed on the Locked On Senators podcast with boots on the ground, but it just doesn't get any better than Shawarma Palace. They have 9 different locations, so you're never too far away from a Shawarma Palace, but you can also never be too lazy to get it either because they're on all the delivery apps. You can just go on your phone and just make sure that it comes right to you. I'll be honest, Pilsy and I were in our quickest mood on Wednesday morning. So what we did is ordered Shawarma Palace. It came, felt good. Pilsy had the garlic potatoes. I mean, yeah, I didn't want to talk to him close up for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. But you know what? That's the price you pay when you want the most delicious food in all the land. Pilsy, this was your first Shawarma Palace in a little while. Did it feel just like home?
It hit very good both times, Ross. We went where we met with our buddy Jack. He was at the location. And then, Ross, we wanted Shawarma Palace again that very night. But then we were both like, oh, wait, it's 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. Most establishments aren't open. So no fault of Shawarma Palace, but we hit with delivery, which you can do too, Ross, because they're on all your favorite delivery food websites.
Yes, we love Shawarma Palace. You're among family at Shawarma Palace. And one of my favorite parts of being in this partnership right now with Shawarma Palace is that they love the Sens just as much as you. And we got to meet the owner, like you said. He comes in wearing his Timmy Superstar jersey. You absolutely love to see it. Sens games taste better with Shawarma Palace, so go check out their dish there. I always get the extra garlic with the chicken shawarma platter. Save some for later. It's just a great treat from our friends at Shawarma Palace. Go get Ottawa's best tasting shawarma at Shawarma Palace at any of their 9 locations, including their flagship store on Rideau Street, where you could run in to Pilsy and I. All right, Pilsy. So it's a Sens game day up against the Washington Capitals. And this is a team that's had Ottawa's number for years. But are you confident that there's a W? I know you put in your parlay of the day, but I don't know how much that speaks to a win coming.
Hey, come on. I am confident they can win, Ross. However, with Alexander Ovechkin in that lineup, I mean, I'll give you a hot second here to pull up Ovechkin's stats up against the Sens because they are abysmal. Ross, I remember back in our early days of podcasting before I should say you though, were SEO experts. We named one of the episodes, the Sens get overwhelmed by the Capitals, Ovi-whelmed. I thought that was pretty creative by yours truly, but it might not have done great on the Google searches. But that's what happens to the Ottawa Senators seemingly every time Alex Ovechkin comes to town or they head to Washington. The battle of the two nations' capitals, we got to put that in there too. Wow. That's a little extra spice on this one as they come to Canada. But I think the fact that we're looking at yet another team, Ross, that is very down on their luck when you look at the suspension of Kuznetsov, the injuries they have. You reference, unfortunately, Connor Brown not going to be making his return back to Ottawa. But this is a team that's down and out, and the Senators, they can't feel sorry for them. They can't play down to their competition if you think it's going to be a weaker game, because this is still a really good team. And when you have superstars like Ovechkin in the lineup, and John Carlson is a great offensive defenseman, you got to be on your top game. So I think it's going to be a close one, but I got the Sens coming out on top. Of course, we know that crowd's still going to be there pumping up that team.
Yes, Alex Ovechkin has 35 goals in 51 games against the Ottawa Senators, 56 points. He's plus 20, which I know isn't everything, but that's the best he's got against any team not named the New Jersey Devils.
Ross, I'm gonna use this opportunity to say plus minus garbage stat.
Nice. Stats are for losers.
In this form, yeah, as Wayne Gretzky would say, stats are for losers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna name drop, this guy says it, I mean, so that at least carries a little bit of weight. And Brent Wallace on Twitter, if you want to hear his podcast thoughts, right now that Wham is no longer, but I like it. He put out a couple of the stat packs with them as well, and man, it's not pretty. The Caps are 8-1-1 in their last 10 visits to Ottawa.
Not surprising.
8 wins in their last 10 home games. Their last win against Washington home was January 24th, 2017. Many moons ago. There will be no players on the ice for Ottawa. Only Derek Brassard still on the team. Not even still back on the team from that time. So, no, we'll get into our classic game day preview. Got our locked on player, lookout player, but I feel like we're so far in the show, we got to get into these reverse retros that are taking the internet by storm. First off, do you like how they do it, all 32 right at the same time? It's kind of sensory overload.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest, about 10 of them had already been leaked. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it would have been better. You could do one every 2 minutes or something. So for a full hour block, you're getting hit with news. I think they should have milked it better.
How about a division a day for a week? Like for 4 days?
I like that, but with the way news is today, Ross, that final division would already be leaked.
Well, except people thought the Sens had been leaked. That black one with just the red and white sleeves. We had it on this show as a potential leak, and that's not what it is. We'll pull it up in a sec, but as you can see, I've changed my jersey in the case. We got the Senegoth because I would say loosely based on that because the Senegoth has 3 colors in it, and this one only has 2. What was your first impression when you saw these ones?
I'll be honest. My first impression was just like, yeah, like that's nice. Like, and you tweeted out, Ross, like no matter what, they're gonna look good. And if you follow the formula of what the Sens jerseys are now, it's gonna look good. We got to give them props. It's miles better than the last one. Literally just all red and pretty much the same thing.
And with impossible to read numbers on TV, and these ones are impossible not to see.
And that's actually, I appreciate that.
Yeah, here we're pulling it up right now. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the reverse retro that you said they're only going to wear it 5 times.
Yeah, so I've got the tweet here since you brought it up, Ross. The games they're going to be wearing them: November 30th versus the Rangers, December 12th versus Anaheim, January 1st. I like that, ringing in the new year with new jerseys versus Buffalo. January 18th versus Pittsburgh, and January 28th versus Montreal. So if you guys are super into these reverse retros, mark those dates down so you can see the boys wearing them.
Yeah, I think they're all right. Like, because the numbers are so big in white, they kind of pop on the arms a little bit. But we saw, and I want to give credit to it as well, but there's a Twitter account that put up what these exact jerseys would look like with white in the middle swoosh. And I think they're so much sharper.
Yep, I agree with that. And check out our boy Liam's Martian retweeted it, but with the white as well, but then the Senegoth logo. Because we love this logo, but it's a reverse retro. Like,
well, it kind of is a reverse though, dude. Because they've got, like, I've got it in the back there. They have the goth on the front, but they have the 2D on the sleeves. So now they've rotated those.
I got that too. But Ross, my main point, my main takeaway is major L not having the Laurels. Like, I can't forgive them for that. I like this one, and I like the big numbers. I like the Senegoth on the thing. I like that they tried something new, but no Laurels is an automatic L for me. So I like this jersey, but I think like a lot of people are saying, I don't know if I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I think they'll look all right. It'd be cool if they went with the red pants with that or something to make it pop. But I think it's going to be pretty black head to toe. I think it could have had a little extra splash. Like, again, we're not designers, I guess. What would you even call that?
Give yourself some credit, Ross. You make some pretty good graphics. Some of those are coming up on the show.
Thanks for the tire pump. I needed that one, but it's okay. I think a lot of them are okay. Maybe I spent so many years and so much energy to try and convince the Sens to get the 2D back.
You did.
I'm all jerseyed out. We like mission accomplished, fait accompli. I'm out of the jersey care game. I'll rock them and I like a good one, but I can't get mad at jerseys as much as I used to.
Yeah, that's fair. I've already got, I love that tier maker website. You can tier them. I'm going to do my tier maker. And obviously the only reason anyone does lists, as Corey Pronman knows, is for people to get mad at them. So I'll make my list. You guys can get mad at them. And I won't reply to any of the comments, but I've got that ready to go here. So I'm sure you'll end up doing the same.
Well, the old tweet, and then hit the 3 buttons, mute conversation.
No. I want to see them, but I'm not going to engage. Yeah.
You want the heat? All right. Stay in the kitchen if you want the heat. And hopefully the Sens are willing to do that tonight when they take on the Washington Capitals. I'm also going to get Pilsey's thoughts on who is favorite and who is least favorite. A little tease of the tiers coming to his Twitter at Brandon Piller 1 a little later on. But as we do in each and every game day, we're going to get into the lineups, keys to victory, locked on, and lookout players of the game. All that's coming up next. You're watching the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. All right, Pilsy, game day for the Ottawa Senators, who are riding a 1-game streak as they continue a 5-game homestand to start a stretch where you really need to gather some wins after back-to-back losses to start. Before we get into the lineups, do you have a number one overwhelming key to victory for Ottawa tonight?
My overwhelming key to victory, Ross, is
Wow, never heard that before.
shut down Alexander Ovechkin. Yeah, I don't care how you do it. It's like when football teams, they go up against a top wide receiver, like your Cup, double team him, and if the Rams can beat you with their other wide receivers, props to them. So that, because I think with no Kuznetsov, the injuries that we mentioned, no Connor Brown, I think they got a couple other, Tom Wilson. So without those three key guys up front, take care of Ovechkin, and if Connor Sheary ends up potting a goal or two on you, you just accept that, because with these stats that you read about Ovechkin, you cannot torch you. So that's going to be my key to victory, is do your best to contain Alexander Ovechkin. I know that's a tall task, and I don't know how they're going to do that, but I think that's what the game hinges on here.
Well, Alex Ovechkin scored career number goal 500 against Ottawa. Now he's all the way up at 782 as he continues to climb the leaderboard all the way. I think he's going to get to number one. He's got a few more years left in him.
He won't stop till he does.
He's 37 years old, though, but already with 2 goals, 3 assists, he leads these Washington Capitals with 5 points in 4 games. As we pull up the Washington Capitals lineup, the Capitals, by the way, are 2-2 on the season, and they're going with Stanley Cup champion Darcy Kemper in between the pipes. Kemper is 2-1 on the year, a .304 goals against, and an .889 save percentage. The top line for Washington is Lars Eller, Alex Ovechkin, and Connor Sheary. On the second line, it's Dylan Strome between Matthew Protas and TJ Oshie. The third line, Connor McMichael between Marcus Johansson, that is, and Anthony Mantha. And the third line, Dowd, Sneevil, and Hathaway. On defense, Dmitry Orlov with John Carlson. Feharvey, I think I butchered that. He's a former 67 too. That's bad. Bad for me. I can tell you, though, he's playing with Nick Jensen tonight. And the third pair, Eric Gustafson and, don't call me James, Tyler Van Riemsdyk.
Trevor. Don't call me James, call me Tyler.
You know why? You know what? That actually,
you got TVR right, though. I'll give you that.
Honestly, this might be the toughest team, names-wise, pronunciation-wise. So, hey, Dino, get to the rink early tonight. You got some new names.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, I mean, if you would have told me that Lars Eller and Connor Sheary would be on a line with Alexander Ovechkin one day, I don't think I would have believed you. So that's very interesting. Although I say that, Ross, and I'm looking at Washington's stats, and Connor Sheary has 3 goals in 4 games, shooting at a 30% clip. So maybe I shouldn't chirp him too much.
No, maybe you shouldn't. So here we go. Ready?
Martin Fevervry.
No, come on. This guy did not get that right. That's brutal.
That sounded worse than yours.
It's on a website. The article's called How to Pronounce His Name. Come on.
Well,
one of the development camp players joked, we just call him Martin. Okay, so will we. Martin on defense for the Washington Capitals. So, who's your lookout player? And no low-hanging fruit. Honestly, it's like a grapevine that's already touching all the way down if you take Alex Ovechkin.
Well, Ross, as Jeff Merrick likes to say, low-hanging fruit is still nutritious, and it still tastes good, even though it's easy. But fine, I won't take the low-hanging fruit here. I'm going to go with Anthony Mantha as my lookout player, because, man, that was a massive, massive trade a long time ago. I feel like so far Detroit has won that trade, although Vrana, unfortunately, is out for the Red Wings as well. I believe he's with the player assistance program right now. But Mantha has been injured a long time for the Washington Capitals, but he's finally getting into it. And that's a guy, we saw a lot of him in his Detroit games. And if I remember correctly, he was a Guelph Storm guy, so I probably saw a lot of him too. But big, dominant power forward. I think the Capitals had visions of him and Wilson just making that right side really tough to play against, but he's kind of working his way back up to what he used to be. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for Mantha, because when he's on his game and healthy and playing a tough physical game, he creates space for himself and his line mates, and he's got a nice offensive touch to him as well. So that's going to be the guy I'm looking out for, Ross.
I'm going to go to that right wing, and probably the toughest to play against winger on this team right now should be, outside of Ovechkin, obviously. There's always that caveat with Washington, but it's TJ Oshie. And I want to know if he's going to slow down with all these injuries, because he's already up to 3 points in 4 games. And this is a guy who missed so much time last year, 38 games between a lower body injury, an upper body injury, COVID, and a non-COVID illness. And then, to make matters worse, he had to get off-season surgery to get a full recovery on what was ailing him in his upper body. So I was expecting him now, not the young, spry TJ Sochi anymore, but 36 years old. And you're like, okay, last year only scored 11 goals, but also, I should say, played 44 games. Whereas before that, this guy had hit over 22 goals every year in the past 6 seasons. And you look before that, 19. So I think that for him, it's like, are you ever going to slow down? He plays that power forward game, and I'm going to be interested to see, because now there's a little more pressure on him, and he doesn't have the same centerman getting him the puck. So him and Dylan Strome is new guys. It's no Nicholas Backstrom, whereas we're used to seeing this team with Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Oshie as kind of the top unit. So I'm interested to see if and how he can control play on his own line and kind of make things easy for the kid on the other wing, and Dylan Strome down the middle, who's been kind of hot and cold, and kind of an undercover matchup, as I say, Dylan Strome. Him and Alex DeBrincat are best buddies. They're all over each other's Instagram all the time, and their time with the Blackhawks in Chicago. So I wonder if they've got a little money on the board for tonight's game.
Yeah, probably. And Dylan Strome is a player that I actually like when he's placed in the proper kind of role. I thought he's had some really good years here and there, but yeah, Oshie is a guy that and I'm glad you mentioned Backstrom. That's a big omission by us when talking about the injuries. So
yeah, it seems like he might be one of those guys, and I hope
might
not.
Be done, eh?
But one of those where it's like the veteran, he's just LTIR, and then you just kind of forget, and then they just don't play anymore. It sucks. He's been unbelievable. I hope he comes back and plays, but he's likely, if not confirmed, already going to be out for all of this regular season. So he's not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, that's too bad for the Washington Capitals. And then you look at the goaltending, Ross. My cat just busted through the door there. It's not a ghost that popped the door open. But Darcy Kemper playing in net tonight. Those stats don't overwhelm at all, Ross. And hopefully the Senators can kind of take advantage of Kemper's had a bit of a slow start here to start the season. And I like DJ Smith. We can maybe kind of transition to the Sens now. Yep. I'll do a little segue for you here, Ross. I like DJ Smith giving Anton Forsberg the morning off. This is a guy that's going to be getting in a lot of games. We know Talbot is back on the ice, but is nowhere near coming back. So it was nice that Forsberg gets the morning off, and he's going to come into this game. I got the utmost faith in Anton Forsberg, because although he didn't play amazing in the game where he gave up 5 goals, that's never really that good, I still thought he gave his team a chance to win.
He certainly did. And you look at what DJ Smith is kind of doing. I'm sure it's more of a Zach Burke thing, especially after we spoke to DJ about the goalies. But I think giving him the morning off is absolutely the play, because I don't really understand or know if Magnus Hellberg is going to play a game for the Ottawa Senators. I think they could just roll in, especially with Talbot back. Like, I don't see him coming in the next week or two.
I wouldn't mind giving him the start against Arizona. Not. I know it's a trap game and they beat the Leafs, etc. But I don't believe it's a good idea to fully ride Forsberg 100%. Because even when Talbot's back, I still think Forsberg should be getting not way more games than Talbot, but I still think he should be your 1A guy.
Okay. All right. Well, let's pull up the Senators lineup. It's going to be the same as we've seen. DJ Smith continues to keep things rolling. Brady Tkachuk was back at practice today after only taking part in the power play portion before yesterday's skate. And we know he took a shot off the tongue of his skate, which doesn't sound comfortable, but it looks like he'll be back in the lineup tonight. So the captain will be at left wing alongside 3-Point Timmy. Might be a new nickname for Timmy Superstar, as he had his 8th 3+ point game. We spoke at length about that on yesterday's show. And Drake Batherson at right wing, another 3-point night. And if you've been OG listeners of the show, ever since BetOnline joined, I've been trying to beat them on the Drake Batherson 3-point bet. That goes back years. Then Norris, DeBrincat with Giroux, Pinto, Mott, and Joseph, Mark Kastelik, Jesus, as the boys are calling him, with Parker Kelly and Austin Watson. On defense, Shabbat and Jake Sanderson and Travis Hamonic, and then Eric Brandstrom with Nick Hold and Anton Forsberg goes in goal. 1 win, 2 losses, 338 goals against, and a 900 save percentage. The scratches remain the same. Nikita Zaitsev on the back end, Derek Brassard, and Dylan Gambrell. The lone injury for the Sens is Cam Talbot. Pilsy, your locked on player to watch.
My locked on player, and you mentioned him briefly when we talked about Strome, but it's got to be Alex DeBrincat. I mean, this guy has 15 shots on goal and no goals, and they haven't it's not like he's had grade A scoring chances. It's just been kind of him doing what an elite shooter does, getting pucks on net. So I want to see the Sens set him up, preferably get him a goal on the power play here. Let's get the DeBrincat rolling.
Oh, please, please, please. I just don't want to hear the talk, and as other guys pull away and they get their cookies, yeah, DeBrincat definitely don't want to be left behind, but I think if he keeps gripping the stick the way he is, I don't think it's that he's missing chances. I think he's getting good opportunities. Goalies are making saves, but yeah, I'll go with you. And we wrote on this one at BetOnline for fun on the game Tuesday, but tonight's the night for Alex DeBrincat to score his first as a member.
Is that a Levy lock?
Yeah, it's a Levy lock.
Levy lock. Let's go.
Yeah. Levy lock tonight. So we're looking forward to that. And then on the back end, I'm going to see if Eric Brandstrom can continue this great play. So I'm excited to see Brandstrom elevate and just the confidence and poise he's carrying with the puck. And my key to victory, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just like I said with the jerseys and why I wasn't matching you fellas with the home blacks. I had to stick with the Alfie white because that's what they won with against Montreal and New Jersey to end last season. But now can the Ottawa Senators get continued production from Eric Brandstrom? And if he can, then we can talk about the power play and how that can take the next step. But they haven't really had a whole lot of opportunities with the power play in the last couple of games. So I would like to see that get another chance tonight.
Yeah, agreed. It's not like the power play, which is surprising, Ross, in a 7-5 game. It's not like the power play really played a big part of that last game, if at all. I think the Sens were just 0 for 2, and the Bruins, maybe 1 for 3 or something like that. It wasn't a huge factor.
No, it wasn't at all. The Senators, I don't think, got any power play goals. So I'm pulling it up right now.
No, I know none of them were on the power play. Yeah,
0 for 2. So 7 goals, all at even strength. I love that. It was just Krejci's goal at the start of the second period that was a power play.
We missed
marker,
that, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of them was 4-on-4, like a shortened power play. So I like to see them snap it around a little bit more, maybe 4-5, get the feet moving and make sure that you're skating. Because I think as a whole, this Washington team is they're on the older side for sure in the National Hockey League. So I'm hoping that Ottawa can take advantage of that a little bit tonight and see what they can get. Now, as I've been having this conversation, I pulled it up and Levy lock at plus 179 for a DeBrincat 1 goal. I like that for sure.
Hello. Yep. I'm in.
Oh, I love that. So, hey, that's a Levy lock tonight. We'll see if we can keep it rolling. Pilsy's parlay is 0 for 1, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks.
No, all good. You don't want zeros on either side of the ledger, right? You want to get things rolling both ways. No, I mean, if you start with a loss, then you do.
Yeah, but I'm feeling good about this one. Do you co-sign onto that one? I mean, last time I had the obvious choice, right? And it was just the Sens that lost. I feel like I'm going to get the obvious one here, and it's down to the boys to help me get this parlay and help you, because I know as I talk to many listeners, everyone rides with Pilsy's parlay. No one faded.
No, nobody fades. Why would they? What's the point in fading?
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why.
Alex Ovechkin to get a point is minus 251.
I mean, yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, that's about right for Alex Ovechkin in his career against the Ottawa Senators. All right, Pilsy's going to be in the postcast tonight with Atleems Martian, and I'm hoping that my voice is better the next time we talk. But we appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day here on the Locked On Senators podcast. We can't thank you enough for all the support over the last few months. Hockey's back. It feels so good. And we're going to get this thing rolling. It was a lot of getting new technology, which we're still figuring out the last couple details here. And then once we have that going, it really will feel like a new era. And the reason why we can reinvest some things in the show is because you're supporting it, whether it's buying merch, coming to the meetups, and downloading each and every day. So it means a lot to us. We appreciate it. It gives us motivation to continue. Pilsy, congrats. The only 3-time Pod of the Week Locked On podcast. The only 3-time champs. And I believe when we were the 2-time champs, we were the only ones who had ever done that too.
Yeah, so we're very humbled by all the kind of gratitude and appreciation we've got. And just to quickly echo Ross's statements, it doesn't happen without the passion of you guys. And it was an absolute thrill to get to see. But it was crazy, Ross. We had so many of those moments where it's like we saw people we had never physically met, but it felt like we already knew them. Like
we said, 19,000 of our best friends.
Yeah, that was it's just a crazy experience, and
we'll be back.
Love the Sens community, and of course we will be back.
All right, Pillsy will be back for the postcast tonight, but for today we say goodbye. Tomorrow it'll be an early release again. This was just a travel day for us. We appreciate you still holding off and not making anything your first listen until you get the pod just playing. But for today we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.